Hey guys, it's Josh Woods with Dog Psychology 101.
So we talk a lot about our concepts and those who are aware of us. We come, I guess, from our niche in the market. Our main demographic has mainly been dogs with behavioral issues, a little more on the serious side, whether that is aggression or reactivity that is an aggressive reaction. A lot of nervous, fearful dogs, things that require a little more. Um, it takes a little harder work, and it's different. If there's any negativity on this philosophy, I guess this mindset or way of thinking or seeing things, I think that's where it's misunderstood. And we're never harsh or mean, but we do deal with some cases. In order to save lives, we have to be more firm on rules, give rules where they don't necessarily make sense from a human mindset, but it's all to help dogs. And we could get deeper into that forever, but I've for a long time really wanted to kind of find a middle ground or way to bridge the gap and explain and talk about how this is applicable to any dog, nearly any dog in any situation. We can make improvements, and everybody can be happier. 'Cause we focus primarily on relationships with our dogs, and of course we have relationships with our dogs, all of us, but we like to improve it. And it's more from the perception of the dog. What you see isn't always what's there, or when you are experiencing difficulties. It could be things from obedience struggles to maybe you don't have a dog who has any behavioral issues that bother you or seem to be problematic. But as we talked about before, one of the big things I think most dogs miss out on is because they don't understand boundaries exist or are expected, or have not been required to just follow through with the patience on our end and learning how to do that properly for our dog individually. They don't get opportunities that most of us would give if we just trusted ourselves or trusted the dog. Whether you live out with large amounts of property for dogs to roam, or you live in a neighborhood, or you live in a city, we all have opportunities where we go out of town, we leave, we go to certain places, or even in the cities. There's a certain park with a certain section at a certain time of day, empty lots. There's lots of avenues. You can download apps and pay to use backyard space from those who don't have animals. There's people who rent those out like Airbnbs, and but our dogs need to have free time. Even the sweetest dogs, the dogs who don't come to see me. I think about this a lot. Is when do they get to be a dog? Is it regular? Is it not? Is it at all? And I think the most sad is, how about the ones who really never get to? You've got the house, you got the yard, maybe walks in the leash daily, or not so much, or nearly never at all. The only time we get out of the house and the yard is maybe going to the vet, or something pretty rare. And you gotta find a balance. I think something's better than nothing. But the reality is, we either don't trust the dog, or it's not fun. And if they're not responding to us, we can't trust them. But you got to get creative sometimes. Start off in the house or in the backyard somewhere easy, and use some sort of long line. Get them to start to have fun. I was speaking with a client just yesterday, and she's had a pup for a while. She's a really good student. She does well, and she's just still struggling with him on the leash. And she told me that he's constantly pulling. He won't slow down. His nose is on everything. He's hyper alert, um, and it's energy that's not aggressive. It's just he's really amped up, and he has no focus at all outside of investigation mode. And he is a mix that is pretty hound like. And so the first thing I told her, I said, as odd as it may sound, put him on a long line and don't worry about the pulling as much. I said, still, address it. But let's get to a point where you go let him be a dog. 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, whatever you can do. And do that as often as you can. I suggested, 4 or 5 days minimum of doing that at some point. And talking about, specifics and individuality, this dog has a really high drive to use his nose and search, and he's curious, and he's young. And sometimes you got to get that unknown out of the way. Let them kind of fill it up, get a little satisfied, get it out of their system, so that it's not, I call it the forbidden fruit. It's when you think you like it, or you're curious about it, or you want it and you haven't got to do it. It builds drive, because it causes frustration. Frustration builds drive. And I can't get upset with a dog who has such an enormous amount of passion and drive to do something that's so normal for a dog that he's struggling to listen. And so sometimes we got to get them out. We got to exercise them more, get them tired. Go let him be a dog. Don't throw balls. Don't talk to him. Don't try to do recall commands. Just let him sniff, dig, chase, roll, swim, whatever he wants to do. This is a huge part of what I do with anybody's dogs that come to stay with me, especially, is they get so much time to be them. So just like when my dogs are in a pack and interacting, my most fundamental rule, the golden rule that I call it, is everybody has a good time. And it's as simple as that. I don't think outside that box. If I'm observing play, interactions, curiosity, sniffing, whatever it may be, that's what I'm thinking. Is everybody enjoying this? And that's more important than what's appropriate. Dogs don't know their rules until we teach them. I talk about these rules a lot, and the rules are not mean unless you make them mean. So don't be mean about it. But this is what we're really going to be getting into. We've got a lot of details. I think questions are good. If there's any questions and comments, we read the comments. We may take questions sometimes, or gives us a little more direction for some of our content on what you guys are interested in and what you're dealing with, what you want. But this is all about the dogs. But have a good day. Like, subscribe.